I live in the Midwest. Sometimes I want to go tropical. I was in Tampa a few weeks ago, went to La Segunda Bakery to get the best Cuban I've ever had in my life, and I saw some guava pastries there. By the time I went back the next day, they were all sold out, so we're about to put the pastry to the test, making it my own way. I'm going to make a Guava Glow Tart because you're going to glow when you eat this thing. So I've spent my week curating this recipe. Let's put it to the test with the crust first. Let's get started with the Pate Sucree base. We got flour, sugar, and a little bit of salt. Let's add my butter. I'm gonna use my pastry cutter till we have cubes about pea-sized mixed into the flour. I got my egg yolk, milk, and add just a little splash of vanilla. Whisk this together. Add our egg yolk mixture to the flour. It's gonna be thick, but we're going to knead it on the countertop anyways, so it'll all come together. Might wanna add a little bit more milk, but I think it's coming together. I'm gonna wrap this in plastic wrap, and then we're gonna refrigerate it for 2 hours before we move on to the next step. Our tart has to be 1/8 inch thickness, so I'm adding my little barriers that help me measure it out evenly. Our Pate Sucree has been chilling in the fridge for over 2 hours, so I'm gonna take this out, let the chill knock off of that, and get started on our Guava Compote, which will be featured in the main part of the tart. I've never made a Guava Compote before. I've made berry compotes, but I'm going to try and blend these, and I hope it works. To get started on my compote, I've got some hot water in my pot here. I'm gonna add a little mixture of brown sugar and white sugar. We're gonna let that dissolve, and then we'll add the guava. Our sugars are dissolved, so I'm gonna add a little bit of lime juice and a little bit of vanilla. I hope this will work, but we're gonna strain in this guava that we just pureed. I don't know. I might have to do it this way. There's just so many seeds. Trust the process. So the research I did was based off of red guavas. I couldn't find red guavas. I bought white guavas. I don't know if that makes a difference. I did read that white guavas have a higher pectin content, so it makes it better for jam, so I thought it would be best for a compote anyways. But I'm trusting the process. I'm gonna try and get this mixed together, and then we'll strain it after. Fingers crossed. So I went in with a whisk, and I think it helps, so I'm gonna go ahead and puree out those seeds before I finish cooking the rest of the compote. We're gonna roll out the crust, the Pate Sucree. Please tell me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. It's so hard. It might need longer. Maybe not. I probably should have chilled it as a disc instead of a ball to make things easier. I originally got my inspiration for the base of this because I saw someone make a pistachio version with raspberry filling, but I couldn't find pistachios right now. And I'm on this tropical guava kick, so I'm trying it with that. I think it'll be really good. I wanted red guavas for the color and the aesthetic, but I couldn't find them, so we're gonna try it with white guavas. Come on. Keep sticking. I'm so annoyed. It broke apart. It's fine. Oh my goodness. I think things are going better now, but we still gotta transport it to the tart pan. We have a hole. Things aren't working in my favor today. Oh my goodness. Come on now. We're just gonna piece it together. I don't know what's going on. The stuff keeps breaking on me. Good enough. I filled it out as much as I could. There's a little bit of translucentness, which I will critique myself on. I'm going to line it with parchment paper and put some rice on it for pie weights. And we're gonna pre-bake it in the oven before we add our Frangipane filling. I prefer to do this way versus buying pie weights because the pie weights just take up extra space and this rice will still be good afterwards. So it's like less of a waste and something to take up space. While the crust is baking, I'm gonna get started on our Frangipane filling, which is traditionally just an almond flavored filling that would be used in like almond croissants if you've had one of those. But we're gonna add the guava that we're making to it. But it's just a little bit of sugar, some salt and butter at first. I'm gonna mix that together and then we'll add almond flour, just a little bit of regular flour, egg, and almond extract. The other ingredients for the Frangipane will be a cup of almond flour, 3 tablespoons of regular all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of almond extract, and 1 egg. I'm going to show you guys the finished guava compote. Doesn't look very pretty because it's a white guava, but it definitely tastes pretty good. And we're gonna let this cool for a little bit and we'll use it within the Frangipane. Not all of it, but just a little bit of it. So I'll show you guys how we incorporate it once we get to that stage. So we baked it for 12 minutes with the rice as the weights, and now I'm gonna take these out and then bake it another 8 minutes without the rice. Still a little uneven, but it's okay. Guys, my stuff split apart. We're gonna form it back together as best as we can before we put the filling in there. I'm so bummed out. It's a little better, kind of. We're gonna smooth this out, and then I think I'm going to dollop the guava amongst it and then swirl it around, which originally my plan was to use red guavas so it'd have a little bit of color to it and everything wouldn't be just beige, but we will see with the, I mean, it doesn't matter. So the flavor is what matters at the end of the day. Okay, I'm gonna add my guava. It looks like baby food, honestly. And I'm just trying something totally different here. So I don't even know if this is gonna work, but I'm confident that it will. And we're gonna swirl this around, kind of like if you were making like a blueberry tart. So then it kind of gives that swirled effect. And then it's gonna go back into the oven. Definitely red guavas would have helped me here because this doesn't look very appetizing, honestly. It's just beige. Let's put it in the oven. We'll give it a shot. So our tart is out of the oven, and what I decided to make for the topping will be a pineapple whipped mascarpone topping. So I'm gonna let this cool for a minute and then I'll take you guys along as I make that, and then we'll top this off and give it a taste test. Our guava tart came out great out of the oven. We're going to make our topping, and for our topping I was envisioning something tropical, equally as great as guava. So I'm going to puree some pineapple and put that into a mascarpone topping. So it's gonna be like a pineapple mascarpone. I only need 2 tablespoons of juice, so I'm just gonna puree 2 of these spears, and then we'll mix together some mascarpone, butter, and powdered sugar. I'm gonna do 1 cup of heavy whipping cream to add to this. I thought about doing cream cheese before, but I'm going to choose to do this instead. We beat our whipped cream. I'm going to take some mascarpone that's been softened to room temperature. We're gonna beat that together with a few tablespoons of butter and some whipped cream, and then fold it into the heavy whipping cream with the pineapple juice that we pureed. There's 3 tablespoons of butter. Ooh. A little bit of overspill. Heaping cup, I'd say. Gonna add some of that pineapple puree that we made earlier, and I'm just gonna eyeball that till we get about 2 tablespoons. It's a little more, that's okay. I just want the flavor enhancement of that. And I'd rather do this from the fresh pineapple rather than pineapple juice, just so that the flavor is a little bit stronger. And then once this is added, we will add the whipped cream that we made. And we'll just fold that until it's all incorporated, making sure we don't deflate the heavy whipping cream that we whipped up. Oop, my bad. Okay, time to top the tart with our pineapple mascarpone. I think the pineapple here is going to be a little subtle, but I didn't want something that was going to be too overpowering to where you didn't taste the guava within the tart. Okay, let's give her a cut. Let's give her a taste test. That's the exact tropical flavor I was looking for. So La Segunda can come contact me for all their tart needs. If you're wanting a tropical flavor and you live in the Midwest or anywhere cold, you gotta try this tart. 10 out of 10. Thanks for watching this week's episode of my 52 Weeks of Baking series. I hope you guys like and subscribe and stay tuned for each new week's episode. And I hope to see you here for next week as we take on week 19.